I myself, as an interior designer, I'm really looking forward to this conversation, and I would love to get a lot of insight in this session today. So let's begin, and handing over the floor to uh, Mr. Saurabh and Mrs. Shweta ma'am. Please introduce yourself and maybe tell us a little bit about how your journey has been till now.
Hi everyone. My name is Saurabh, and Shweta joins us here, and we are the co-founders of Gulmohar Lane, and we started in 2015. That's when we launched this brand, and our brand is more about hand craftsmanship, and we work on categories including upholstered furniture, hardwood furniture, decor, lighting, etc. And we are based in Jaipur, so we have a fully integrated facility here in Jaipur. So we work end to end from design to the final manufacturing of product and final delivery of the product to the customer. So Shweta, you wanna add about how we go about that?
Sure. Hi, Shubhangini. Thank you, Arch, for having us here. It's an honor. Both Saurav and I, we started Gulmohar way back in 2013. That's when we started working and conceptualizing on paper. And we were very lucky to zero down on Jaipur as a city to start Gulmohar Lane. We were based in Mumbai before we moved to Jaipur to start Gulmohar Lane. And while wrecking Jaipur, we love the city, the balance it brings, the number of crafts that are available in the city, the karigars, artisans, skill sets, and you name it, any kind of hand craftsmanship is based here, whether it's textile or whether it's wood or whether it's ceramics, stoneware. We were really inspired, and that made us move to Jaipur. It also has a very thriving design community to brainstorm with, to float ideas, to learn from one another. That's been a story. So 2 years into product development, and 2015 is when we rolled out on Facebook, simply by a post. And that has led us now to our own factory setup here in Jaipur. We are now close to about over 200 in strength here within this one compound. We provide end-to-end solution from concepts to from design to manufacturing and retail. Now we have two stores through which we've expanded our presence. One in Mumbai, we're opening one in Delhi. And of course, it's exciting how AI is helping us smoothen our back end, also it's helping us pace up better. It's also we're ourselves trying to gauge and see how each one of us at various processes and different levels get empowered, and we help grow in the right direction with the help of AI.
Right. That sounds wonderful. And I'm really glad to know that you're thriving and you are really enjoying the city, because at some point, even I decided to be here and, practice here. And it sounds very relatable to me. And I'm sure a lot of people who are hearing us right now can relate to this. Also, I would like to just mention before we start our conversation, and maybe we ask you some questions. We are live on YouTube, and people who are connected with us live here, please feel free to ask questions on the comment box. And whenever we get a chance between our conversation, we would love to take your questions up, and maybe we can have a nicer, better, and maybe a more relatable conversation for everybody who is also, connected with us right now. So let me just begin with the first question that, just comes to my mind here, because from what I just heard from you, I understand that whenever people think of AI, they straight away go into how AI is going to answer questions for us. So as far as this industry is concerned, you just mentioned that you are basically doing everything from the organizing to the processing to the moderating everything at the same time of you're getting everything in place, and then you're designing, and then you are also processing, and also at the end of the day, giving it to the client, also serving them. So how do you think AI, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, how AI is going to help you as far as the business is concerned? Let's just start with business first, and then we can move into how it helps in furniture or other designs. Most of the people now, I think, even students are aspiring to become practitioners in future. They want to maybe open their firms and maybe work into different things altogether. As far as this field is concerned, they can get into furniture, they can get into other materials as well. So how do you think AI is benefiting you as a business person, as far as you are doing this very creative field that you are working with? Yeah.
I would say that, in every field nowadays, AI gives you a lot of inputs in terms of, whether it is the manufacturing process, or it could be, saving the material, or giving you the correct process of making the, one particular product. Also, even in terms of, if I talk about the retail front, when the customers come in, it's very easy now to make them visualize the whole look. Suppose they show us an image of their living room. It's very easy for
Right.
the staff to just, the plug in the furniture in that living room along with the exact fabric and material. So that immediately gives them confidence.
Absolutely.
So that really helps in earlier conversion. Otherwise, it would be a long process where a customer would take the all the inputs and go back to their home, and try to visualize that how will this particular piece look. Even in
Right.
terms, some people would do like the scotch tape marking to
Yeah.
see if the sofa is really fitting in that space or not.
Exactly. Yes,
So
absolutely.
all those things are, I think, have become much easier now in terms of,
Right.
and of course, even in terms of the retail research. Like today, if I want to open a store in, say, Hyderabad, so AI would help me, even give me the exact location where which would be the right spot for a brand like ours to open
Yeah.
the store.
I
Uh,
see. Yeah.
and what are the categories we could get into. So in every sphere related to every aspect, AI could be helpful. Of course, you can't blindly follow AI. You have
Yeah.
to put in your own judgment. You have to decide
Absolutely.
what
Yeah.
is
Your
right and
experience
wrong.
also is important. Absolutely.
Because sometimes you also get like very random, inputs by AI. So you have to be mindful of that, and you have to go by what is useful to you, and what is seemingly correct in your context. So definitely in
Right.
all these aspects, I would say, even in terms of numbers, when we have to analyze, say, a business plan, or even Excel sheets, I think
Yeah.
AI really helps you summarize all of that to reduce the time required to do a particular project. So that's where I
Right.
feel in terms of business, the AI is useful.
Right, right. And do you think it is the same as far as your process, the actual process of manufacturing your furniture products are concerned?
I
So
didn't
you
get
said
you.
that yeah, I'll elaborate. So what I meant to, by asking this question was, you just said that it has made it easier for maybe measuring things, putting the right piece of furniture in the right space, and then for
Yeah,
people to be able to visualize how it's going to work for them.
yeah,
But what my question here is that that is done where once the visualization is done, you have a basic idea of what is going to go where. But then you start the manufacturing process, and as far as the manufacturing process goes, you have to be very concise with how things are happening. And also there was this human error that always played as when
yeah,
we had carpenters working at sites, and we still have those issues. One
yeah,
of the things that AI should ideally help us maybe is in that precision of how that manufacturing process is now being done for these furnitures pieces. So where do you think AI can help us, or maybe AI might not be very helpful in this situation or currently, or maybe it could improve maybe in future? Where do you think as a manufacturing person this is AI could be or is already helping you or aiding you in this process?
So AI could help in, forming the correct manufacturing process for a particular piece, to
Right.
reduce the wastage, to get the correct, components out of,
Yeah.
which will be required to make that product. Also, AI
Yeah.
could also help in, helping, suppose you design a piece which is a very classic piece, and you give a brief to AI that how do I make it, say, more modular?
Yeah.
Because you know
Exactly.
uh, in today's time, when you have to ship the product to a different city, or suppose there's say damage happens to that product, say after a few years, then you don't have to really
Mhm.
replace the whole product. You can replace that particular part because you have that particular part as a
Exactly. It's a
component.
modular situation.
Yeah. So, these are the aspects where AI could be very helpful, even in terms of reducing the wastage. That, of course, helps
Absolutely.
in, the sustainability part of it,
Yeah.
because you reduce the wastage, and it helps everyone, right?
Right. Very true. I mean, it is very interesting that you mentioned the word modular here because that is exactly what I think we were going for, because it is that which might help us. And it is that where we probably have to now move to, instead of the pre-customized version in, or to, just be the on-site kind of a person. As far as AI is concerned, it should ideally help us manufacturing in bulk and maybe working in the modular situation. That is very true, and very interesting that you mentioned that as well. I would just maybe bring you to a little different direction now. I want to ask you, since we're talking about resilience, so one of the things that we keep discussing with every professional that we now meet, or our friends or our family, how AI has really changed our lives in the last 1 year or 2 years. I wouldn't say that it is all flowers and sweets and the cherry on top of the cake. I mean, I think there are some things that have been difficult for us as well, especially when we deal with clients, because everybody is now equipped with AI and they might have a different approach to AI, much different from how we look at it as a technical person, or maybe somebody who's qualified to, make these things or develop these things. So, having said that, what are the problems or the challenges that you think you have faced since the AI has really like become a bigger part of our life now?
Could this,
Yeah.
Shpangini, this takes me to an
Yeah.
instance where now clients are taking our products off our website and various offering. They're modifying it
Yeah.
digitally with the help of AI. They're placing it in their interior
Yeah.
design and layouts. And they come back
Yeah.
saying, is this possible? You know? So a lot of it
Yeah,
is,
I get what you're saying.
a lot of it is cosmetic without understanding the nitty-gritties of
Yeah.
product development and the technicalities. So it's interesting to see
Mhm.
how clients are engaging with it and their enthusiasm, the ownership in design that they have, the floating pictures, the
Right.
floating renders. Can this be changed? Can the print?
Yeah.
Beauty about AI right now is that AI changes things without really, a lot of times these renders, they modify the original product while you're
Absolutely.
placing it in your home scenario.
Yeah.
The arm might change, or the height of the seat might change, which to a layman they miss out on all of these details.
That's very
um, Yes, even our graphic design team, we also manage our marketing in-house since day one.
right. Okay.
So a lot of our visuals which are going on Instagram, our graphic designers are dabbling with AI-driven styling. And the
Right.
challenge really that we face day to day while experimenting is that the original design is tweaked, modified, and here before AI, all of our team, we are product centric brand. Our
Yeah.
first brief to our team, no matter which department, is know the product. We have a huge offering on our website. You have to
Right.
know the names, you have to know the forms, you have to know the design themes, you have to know design movements, least design proportions, you know? So our
Yeah.
graphic designers, while they do a pretty scene, they also have to be mindful that the form stays intact,
Yeah.
and product information is still key for a brand like us. To
Yeah.
know the product in depth and offering and proportion is
Yeah.
still very, very relevant and needs human intervention and discretion as of now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 So,
I think with this answer, you've also answered the question that I was now thinking of adding on, asking you that uh, do you really believe that AI can take over our jobs currently or not? Because it cannot. I mean, very well said that the humans, that human touch, that precise, that thought behind everything, every situation, every scenario is still very relevant to our field, our creative spaces. And one of the major issues that even I, as a practicing interior designer, face is that whenever you put any prompt into AI, if you just forget to mention that do not change the design or the proportions or maybe this or that, they tend to, revise those things even without a prompt. And then if somebody is not mindful or somebody is not very, uh, you know, uh, very I mean, do not give that kind of attention to that, the result that you get from there, then it
yeah.
could go in a very different direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree with what you just said. Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel that from being an interior designer, you are still relevant as you understand the client brief, and you are seeking help from AI to deliver. And probably the only reason AI would right now help us is pace up and at the speed with which we solve problems.
Right.
Right?
Very
Uh,
true. Yeah.
so it's
It should aid us rather than replace us. Is
Yes,
that what? Yeah,
it
I'm just.
cannot, because
Yeah.
you know what your clients want, the tonalities, because AI is a lot of times mindlessly improvising,
Right.
you know.
That's
So
actually a very good
human,
phrase to use. Yeah.
yes, so human
Mhm.
intervention is still very, very relevant. And
I think
Right.
AI should be more of a like a creative partner rather than,
yeah,
you really can't replace a human being with the AI.
Yeah.
But a human being can take help from AI to create a better product, better
Right.
experience, and also to make the whole process a little faster. I would say, earlier,
Yeah.
if you give a brief to a designer and the designer would start working on it, it would take a lot of time for a designer to put down his or her thoughts on paper or on, say, a computer to make a presentation. But in today's
Right.
time, it's much faster because AI could render it and give you the output, so you could immediately understand that how this would come out. Having said
Right.
that, I feel that it can still not take over the whole thing and not replace human beings. As of now, it's not replacing human beings. We don't
Yeah.
know the way it's evolving if it could. Never say never,
Yeah.
but definitely in today's context, I feel that it should be a creative partner more than just a dependable source of anything, to be
Yeah,
honest.
true. Very true. I have just have another last question, just adding to what we are already talking about. Since we have a lot of students joining us here, I'm sure that they're listening to us now, and we as faculties are also thriving to give them the best, advice as far as AI is concerned, because it is something that I advocate, at the same time also understand the restrictions
Yeah.
and challenges. Well, having said that, what advice would you like to give to students while they are using AI to also keep creativity, empathy, and the human-centered design at the core of their work, and not, letting go of that or just trying to retain it as much as they can as designers?
Yeah. Shweta, you want to answer that?
Yeah, Shubhangini, when I see, I mean, most of our marketing effort is on social media, and the human eye can tell visuals which are right now being derived out of AI, and brands, pages, visual content, storylines which are woven around real human effort, be it a furniture
Right.
design, be it storytelling, be it a photographer who's attempting to capture light, shadow, a product. I feel we as humans are naturally drawn towards human effort as of now,
Absolutely. No,
and
absolutely.
there is great value in seeing human effort where people come together to build something, to create something, be it a product, be it a storyline, anything. So I feel that we should, like Saurabh said, AI is for us as a tool, you know,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
probably resolve. And as designers, we thrive in solving problems creatively,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and AI can help us in a variety of aspects, right from comparisons to saving sampling cost, to visualizing, to comparing, to help us with a lot of no's, which help us arrive and stay closer to our aesthetics. When we build a brand or a label, there are a lot of no's that we as designers practice. What is not us?
Right.
Is this Gulmohar Lane? Is this
Mhm.
not Gulmohar
Absolutely.
Lane? So AI can help us, as there are a variety of tools that can help us compare and stay true to our brand language or our aesthetic language. So a lot of beauty is in
Right.
the questions we ask AI, and the clearer we are in our mind, the better the output we derive out of AI. And that's where I guess prompts play
I
a
agree.
big role. So
Yeah.
keep it as a, I think AI is here to empower us and
Right.
solve problems faster, better, more effectively,
Yeah.
and with a lot of precision. And with AI responses, we are learning at a faster pace. I mean, I see it as this way,
Yeah.
that there's so much information that's flown back to us, that we as humans are processing in real time and growing and learning. So
Yeah.
My advice
Absolutely.
to
Yeah. Very
the
well said. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. My advice to the students
Yeah.
would
Please
be
continue.
that, don't be afraid of AI, first of all. Take it as a
Yeah.
tool, learn as much as you can through AI, but at the same time, do not, depend on AI for everything. Because,
Right.
that is what I see as a trend nowadays, that, a lot of students are too dependent on AI, which is a problem. You should just work as a human, how a human would work naturally, how a human would think naturally or conceptualize, develop hand skills. Don't let go of your hand skills in any
Mhm.
case, however much AI could do. Because at the end of the day, as a professional, I think about it that what gives you satisfaction? Being a designer, what gives you satisfaction? I think the satisfaction is not that you take out some product from the internet and make it, or some product that AI suggests, you make it. The
Yeah.
maximum satisfaction you get when you conceptualize something, when you put it on paper, when you see that, maybe say, if I talk about furniture, the arm should not be like this, but, maybe it should have this shape or
Exactly.
that form.
Yeah.
So I think when you do that, I think that's when you would get maximum, creative satisfaction. And
True.
I
Very true.
think when we enter this field of creative, work, why do we enter? It's not always that you want to earn money and you just want to create wealth, right? At the
Yeah.
same time, most creative people, they need to satisfy their creative urges. They get this urge to,
Absolutely. Very
right?
true. Yeah.
press.
And
Mhm.
that can never be satisfied with AI. You can take help from AI, you can take suggestions. Okay, can you suggest how do I deal with this? Or,
Yeah,
can you suggest maybe variations of this?
absolutely. Yeah.
But I think it's very important that that human touch, that human interaction, the interaction with, say, artisan or craftsman, that should always remain. You should not become like, just you should not never ignore that. You should travel, you should observe people, you should
Yeah.
observe spaces, you should observe maybe there's so many objects which can give you creative ideas or
Yeah,
conceptual ideas.
absolutely.
So that, see, AI is a, I would say a better form of Google. It's just taking a
Exactly.
lot
I
of
do agree with
information
that.
and putting it in a more meaningful way than
Right.
before.
Yeah.
But it is only doing that much what is available on the web, right?
Right.
So the human mind still is, I feel, more creative.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
can do much more than what AI could do at the moment, I would say.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, true. I mean, as far as what you just said, I absolutely agree with that. And at the same time, the fact that you just mentioned the inspiration part behind a creative, design or a creative product that we end up doing, that observing and getting inspired from maybe something new. And that is what makes us human. And that is what makes our design our design. Like we can very well say that this is my design
Yeah.
because it has not been produced by a prompt or a program. I think that that is something that makes us the unique designers for that matter and not something that is available everywhere. So it was absolutely a pleasure speaking with you, Saurabh sir and Shweta ma'am. An absolute pleasure. And I'm really glad that we got to have this conversation. I mean, is there anything that you want to maybe say before we close the session? I think it was lovely speaking with you. From my end, I would like to thank you again for joining us. But is there something that you want to maybe close with, something that you think that everybody should know, and something that you want to share?
So Shubhangini, I would say that you are interacting. You represent the institute, right?
Right, I do. Yes.
And you interact with the students. What do the young minds feel about AI?
They actually, when Saurabh sir mentioned very briefly that I do not want the students, or I would suggest the youngsters not to get afraid of AI, I think he was very apt when he did that, because it is something that I am observing for students getting really overwhelmed by. Students are overwhelmed at the same time, beginning to depend on it extremely, to an extent where they maybe are getting inspired by, say, a tree, and they want to create something, some furniture piece out of it, or maybe make a wall paneling out of it. They would just say, maybe give me options for a wall paneling that can be said as being inspired by a tree, or maybe they click a picture and they'll upload that, and things like that. So what I try to tell them is that it is a good way of what you are trying to do, but I think that is not where you should be satisfied as a designer. Maybe you still get inspired by what AI is giving you when you tell AI to do this or that. And the other thing that I think is making them very comfortable towards AI is the rendering part of everything. The conversation that we basically started with, the 3D renders that we try to produce, the visualizations that we are trying to produce for our clients, in their case, for their faculties, it is getting very easy for them to maybe just make a AutoCAD 2D drawing and putting it there, and not even clear. I mean, let AI decide what color, what material, what kind of wood it's placing. 90% of the times, if you start asking them questions about those renders and the materials that you have used, are they have been thought about? Do you know the thickness? Do you know how it will be applied? Or the execution part of it? They tend to get a little stuck, and that is where we as faculties are trying to bridge that gap, where we do not want them to stop using AI, and helping them, use AI to benefit them, to maybe giving them more exposure. They cannot go to every shop, they cannot go to every place in the world, but now with AI they can. So they can draw a lot of inspiration from AI. They can ask AI to help them, expedite their process of designing something. But at the same time, they cannot let AI design for them. I mean, is that
Yeah.
making sense to you? That is what is happening currently. Because of that lack of understanding of where AI is supposed to help us, and where I, as designer, am supposed to pick up a pencil and start sketching. That is the gap that we are feeling, as faculties currently. And they are also trying to, fight it every day. The students, they're scared. Maybe if they do something on AI, they're scared to share it with us, because they feel like we would just rebuke them over it, or maybe we would just tell them, why did you not sketch it? And rather than, just you put a prompt on it, the things like that. So we as faculties also are trying to bridge that gap, as far as the students are trying to understand how it's going to actually help them.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
tactile aspect of a design process is getting absolutely
Yeah,
compromised.
diminished. Yes,
Quickly.
absolutely. Yeah.
So the connect is also not deeper.
Yeah,
With a
absolutely. It's
with
not.
a quick resolution from AI, your connect with the design that is probably being offered or you are offering, that connect is also compromised somewhere, I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah,
So
true.
yeah, so as a design institute, I'm sure you'll bring them back to
Yeah, we'll try to.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah, I
said that,
think
I have a very quick question. Sorry. Please continue if you have something to say.
no, I was saying that it's very important to have that balance and that fine line between how do you cope with AI and also how do you make them understand that importance of hand skills, that
Yeah.
why it's important. Because, as a company, when we also hire designers,
Yeah.
we look for the authentic hand skills, that
Yes.
where does it come from? Because, it's nowadays it's very easy for a lot of students to just make portfolios with AI, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't really judge their graphic sense. You can't really judge their product designing skills, hand skills. So very difficult. So a lot of times we have to give them assignments that okay, do
Yeah.
this in hand and give it to us,
Yeah,
so
I
that
totally
we
get it.
know
Yeah.
that how capable are you as a human being.
Yeah, we do the same in our office when we're hiring somebody. Since I'm also practicing and working in an office situation, so I do face that. And what I try to do with the students is that I am trying to make them, or overall in Arch, I have noticed that we as institution are trying to make them, I don't know if this word is very appropriate, but hireable in the industry. You know what I mean when I say that?
I know what
We
you
do
mean.
not
Yeah.
want them to, lose the very identity as a designer or a creative person. And I know that in offices and our office spaces, we still need those students. We know we need people who are driven, who are enthusiastic about design in the first place. So, yeah, having said that, a very quick question. There's a question from the comment box. It says that if you want to work in furniture or home decor space, where do we even start? Internships, side projects, social media, where is it that they should maybe begin from, and how should they explore this profession for themselves?
If I can answer,
Yeah.
Saurabh, you want to?
No, no, go ahead.
So I think, Shubhangi, everything starts from your personal story. You know, why is it that you're designing? What is it that you're designing? What is your process? What's your motivation? What's your connect with the product? So for me, and how we started Gulmohar Lane was with product.
Yeah.
So product development and your passion for the product, that reflects eventually, and that is what eventually helped us find a direct connect with our client base.
True.
It started with product, it started with design, the root was roots always personal passion and what you're trying to solve and why. So when that clarity is there, you can sustain for longer.
Right.
in that, because there will be hardships, there will be disappointments, there will be challenges. The only things that will help you reattempt is your personal passion for what problem you picking and trying to solve creatively.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and
And
the
I
other
would
aspect
say,
would be to keep it tactile, if you're just presenting on paper, virtually missing out on the actual material exploration, development, then
Right.
a lot is missed, and that would again lead to disappointments. As you rightly said, that you want your students to be as engaged in the real world and
Absolutely.
not just limit themselves in the virtual environment, because in
Right.
reality eventually what lands in someone's home is either it's a physical art or a furniture piece. It's all real,
Yeah, very true.
just
Yeah.
concepts on paper. Real
Exactly.
product has to land somewhere,
Yeah, yeah.
and that has to sustain for years, depending upon what art form or design form you're trying, or what
Very true.
design solution you're trying to give. It's ultimately physical product, and that at the moment AI is not going to be able to take away from us. So we're still secured, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's very nice way to put it. And on that note, there's another quick question. I think you've already answered it. Maybe we could just make it keep it precise. Somebody's asking, do you personally use AI in your design process right now, or is it more of an experiment for you?
Saurabh, you want to answer that? You also had something to say.
Yeah.
so, yes, we do use it only for visualization more than
Right.
anything else,
Yeah.
and not really, we don't start with AI for sure, because we start with need, which is very important. That what is the need to make this furniture? What is that you're trying to achieve? I
Yeah.
think that's where the whole concept of new design comes from.
Yeah.
And then I think what is important is any new furniture or any good furniture. I think it's very important to have a combination of beauty, comfort, and the emotional connection that should be
Very
there.
true. Yeah.
So we always keep that in mind. And with the help of AI, we definitely take help in terms of the visualization more than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
But it's very important that these three aspects should always be there in any piece of furniture that you're designing. That
Yeah.
what is the end use of it? It should be useful to a customer. If you're
Yeah.
designing a beautiful chair, if we talk about sustainability, or if we talk about, say, longevity of the furniture, I feel furniture will only last long if it is comfortable. A beautiful
True.
chair which is not comfortable will not.
It's not going to be there. Yeah. Very true.
Somewhere or the other, a person will either stop using it, or will discard it, right?
Right. Right. And that
So
also, I think, defines how long you're going to stay in the industry as a designer. So I think the longevity of a designer also comes with the product that we are designing. So I think it goes hand in hand. It was just really nice talking to you. I'm repeating myself, but it has been a pleasure, absolutely. I think we'll be closing this session because we will be celebrating the World Industrial Design Day for the rest of the day as well. We are going to have another session which starts at 3 p.m. today. And that session is with Mr. Raju Mangodiwala. He is the president of Jewelers Association Jaipur. The topic for their conversation and their session is resilience in traditional industries and business leadership. And people who are connected with us on YouTube right now, we would request them to stay connected with us for the next another 10 minutes. Maybe take a short break, get your cup of coffee and maybe a snack, and then stay connected with us. And I hope you enjoyed our conversation, and you will continue to enjoy the rest of the conversations for the rest of the day. Thank you again, Saurabh ji, and thank you, Shweta ji, for connecting with us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I hope that your connection with Arch will stay longer, and maybe we can speak more. Maybe we could have you sometime on campus and discuss more about your establishment, and we would love to have you around maybe sometime if that works for us. And thank you so much. I mean, I hope it
thank
was a
you.
good session to speak to me as
Yeah.
well.
No, it was
Absolutely.
lovely talking to you, Shubhangi. You've been lovely, and thank you everyone for listening and having us here.